Hey everyone, Amia here from Resonance Astrology, and as always, joined by lovely Duna Holler. We're greeting you for the last part of the Decan Dance series. We're going to talk about Pisces today. We're sad that this is coming to an end, but all good things must come to an end, as Nelly Furtado says. And I think one of the biggest things we will see once we get to the end of Pisces is that an ending is a beginning. There is no end. It's all just going through the zodiacs again and again. And yeah, well, we're talking about endings, but maybe some of you are here for the very first time, and this is the first video you're watching from the Decan Dance series. In case you are, there is a whole playlist, always linked in the description down below, where we have all the videos from all the decans. When we started last year in Aries season, we went through all of the signs. So much fun. And you can always rewatch that. It's super useful if you have any placements, especially like your sun, moon, or rising, or your chart ruler, to get a bit of a glimpse in how it's expressing itself. Because the decans are when we take a sign that is 30 degrees and we split it up in three parts. So we get the first 10 degrees, the middle, and the last 10 degrees. And so, depending if you, let's say, have your Venus at 5 degrees or 12 degrees or 27 degrees of Pisces, it's going to express itself pretty differently. And this is what we're going to talk about today. Did I miss anything, Duna?
No, you didn't. You didn't miss anything. I mean, one thing is that this is the video, but we're gonna have a
Yeah.
workshop, like always. This is gonna be the last workshop. So
Yeah.
we encourage everyone to come, even if it's just for this one, even if you don't have Pisces placements. I feel like we're gonna take a little bit more of time than usual because it's the last one. And also, it's on the March 15th
Yes.
at 7:30 Central Standard European Time. And as Amia said, an ending is a beginning. I think I speak for both of us that if you are looking back in these videos like in the next year, on the year after that, and you have like something that comes to your mind, or you're like, oh, the thing that you talk in the videos about this placement, I would like to leave a comment. Please leave a comment in the videos. Just because it has already passed doesn't mean we don't look at it. We pretty much look at it. And I don't know. I guess I just want to encourage people to do their own Decan dance, to do like their own, to start again in Aries, look at the video of Aries, and we probably will make the workshops available after the recording sometime soonish. Not yet, but soonish. And yeah, I think that's all.
Yeah, yeah, that will be great because then you can access either singular workshops if you're interested in just a particular sign, or you can get the whole library where you can go through each of the signs. And again, I think it's so perfect. It's especially if you're a bit further down the route of astrology, I think it's very like I would definitely not say that decans are completely beginner friendly, but it can be if you wanted to, if you're a fast learner, like 100%. I think it's a great way to get to know the zodiac signs, which in general, when once Aries season starts, you always have a full year of following and tracking the sun. And this is a great way of how to also track the decans to see where the sun is at right now. Obviously, in the workshops, we also talk about other transits. I think for the Pisces one, because we're doing a grand finale, we're gonna talk about Saturn and Neptune's journey. It's going to be a bit of a retrospect in what they have been doing about Pisces. And so you're welcome to join. The link to sign up is going to be down below. One workshop is $11, and we will be super happy to see you there. And yeah, let's start talking about that first decan in the sign of Pisces, which is going to be from 0 degrees till 9 degrees in 59 minutes.
Okay, the first decan is called, according to Austin Kopok in 36 Faces, the Labyrinths. The images of this decan are usually a man carrying burdens on his shoulder and well clothed, so like wearing really like fancy clothes. And the rulers of the decan are in Chaldean order Saturn, and in Ptolemaic order Jupiter. Generally, this decan talks a lot about journeys. Since we are arriving to the end of the zodiac, and this is the beginning of that sign, it's very much like a pilgrimage decan. Jupiter always talks about pilgrimage in a lot of ways, and Pisces in the Telma Mundi, which is a whole other thing we'll talk on the workshop, is the ninth house, which is also pilgrimage. So a lot of the significations of this decan have a lot to do with the beginning of a journey. It's also about changes in general because Saturn usually abrupt changes, Jupiter usually hope for changes, and about leaps of faith. And the card is the Eight of Cups, which I'm just gonna show you now, first saying which is the deck.
Yes, let me first grab the deck. Maybe you already know, but in case you don't, the ones that I'm using is from this Trip and Wait Tarot deck, which is the normal Wait Tarot deck, but just a bit of a more psychedelic version from it. So a lot of the imagery is a lot more uplifting. But I will say the Pisces cards are, in essence, also like pretty uplifting in and of itself. Um, so this is the Eight of Cups, which is like I feel like almost self-explanatory when it comes to the pilgrimage part. Like clearly this person here is partaking in a sort of pilgrimage. And what I find interesting with Pisces especially and with all the cups cards of the Pisces decans is all of them are upright. Like none of them are like turned over or doing something. Like all of them are kind of in one place, which really feels like that honestly kind of a grand finale in and of itself. And I think just Saturn, Jupiter are also i- in the cosmos. They are very much about our structures, like our world structures. Jupiter's are about our beliefs, and then structures, and then Saturn is about the structures of the world, and they kind of like go hand in hand. And there's also a reason why it's, you know, Jupiter sign, Sagittarius, and then Saturn, Capricorn, Aquarius, and then Pisces again. So these Jupiter and Saturn ruled signs, they really have something in common and they're really here to build things up. And that's why I really think that image of going towards a journey, it almost feels a bit like The Hobbit, where he's like, I'm going on an adventure, and you set out. But it's not necessarily, I think, completely like maybe the Fool card that is almost a bit naive. I think there is already a lot of wisdom infused in this card specifically here. But it is a quest card. It is a quest card.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you've said it mostly everything. Like usually we'll go more about the dignities, which in case is mostly Jupiter, but also both of these planets are out of the triplicity. So both of these planets are like diurnal planets and we're in a nocturnal sign. And that has a lot to do with kind of like bringing some of the things that are supposed to be subjective or internal to kind of like an external or like in a whole like community way. So like beliefs brought into the community, very Pisces. And I think that meaning will come up also in the other decans that come. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say.
It's certainly a journey. I think it's to make it a bit maybe more practical for people that have placements in this
Yeah.
decan, because now what I said seems very like elusive and out there, which to be fair is very much the realm of Pisces. It's very elusive, but I do think it talks like people that have planets in this decan, they're usually people that want to build worlds, that they want to go on quests, they want to go out, they want to
Hmm.
experience, and that is also very Jupiter and Pisces. Again, it's maybe a bit different than Sagittarius, but in a way it's also very spiritual. It's going to that retreat and meditating and getting in touch with the wider worlds. So this is, I think, planets in this decan, if you have them, that's usually like an internal urge to get to know that. And I think one of the big lessons of Pisces in general is always, be a fish in the open, but don't get lost. Like do it in a way that it's detached. Like you can be part of the current, but also detach yourself so you're not a lost fish. But anyhow, that's we could talk about Pisces for another 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I can read the poem. We'll
Yes.
definitely develop this more and talk about the relationship with other decans and also some chart examples in the workshop. But for now, I'm gonna leave you with the poem from Susan T. Chang's book 36 Secrets. T. Susan Chang, sorry, dyslexia. And this is actually part of an old Norse poem. It's a translation. It's called Havamal originally, and it doesn't have an author. It's like a traditional poem,
Mm.
and the translation is by double W.H. Owen and P.B. Taylor. And this is a long one. The other ones of Pisces are not going to be as long, but this makes a lot of sense because it's the beginning of a journey in some way. I feel like because this decan and the first of Capricorn are the same rulers, in my head it's like this is the beginning of a journey, but it's also a journey with all the knowledge that you have from the
Yeah.
zodiac till now, but it's beginning here in some way. The Lord of the Rings reference makes a lot of sense. Anyway, reading the poem. Wounded I hung on a wind-swept gallows for 9 long nights, pierced by a spear, pledged to a dim, offer myself to myself. The wisest know not from whence spring the roots of that ancient rose. They gave me no breath, they gave me no mess. I looked down with a loud cry. I took up runs from the tree I fell. 9 lays of power I learned from the famous Boulder, Vesta's father. He poured me a draught of precious mead, mixed with magic odor. Words some strove well, word from word gave words to me, deed from deed gave deeds to me. Runes you will find unreadable staves, very strong staves, very stout staves, staves that Baldur stained, made by mighty powers, graven by the prophetic god, for the gods by Odin, for the elves by Dane, by Dalin too for the doors, by Asvin for the hateful giants, and so I carved myself. Done before man was made, scratched them. Who rose first fell thereafter. Now how to cut them, now how to read them, now how to stain them, now how to prove them, now how to evoke them, now how to score them, now how to send them, now how to destroy them. Again, very Lord of the Rings.
It, it, yeah, it sounds like this epic poem before you go on a journey. It's so true.
Okay, Pisces 2, called by Austin Kopok in Sardis' Faces, the net. The image of this decan is a woman of good countenance and she is well adorned. I'm making note that both this figure and the figure in the first decan are well dressed. These are well dressed people. The rulers are in Chaldean order Jupiter, so we have Jupiter repeated here, and in Ptolemaic the moon. And generally, this is, if the other one was like the start of a journey, this is kind of like when you are going on a journey with people and you grow fondly of each other. So this is kind of like the being, I know this is more like such imaginary than Pisces, but kind of like being by the fire and telling tales sort of thing. Feels like a, very much in this decan. And also it's associated a lot with like the positive sides of survival. Both Jupiter and the moon are planets of survival, of food, of feeding, and of like nurturing. Both planets are related to Cancer as well. And yeah, generally just a sort of like the positive side of survival, where in other signs, like for example Capricorn, as we saw, we see more of like the side of survival that is a little bit, or Scorpio, a little bit more like focused on the night part of it, so like on the shadowy parts. Here is like survival, kind of like in a more uplifting way. And the card is the Nine of Cups.
This is the Nine of Cups in this deck. Fun, right?
Yeah, that's
Genie in a
fun.
bottle. So yeah, guys, if you pull this card, you have three wishes that you shall be granted. But I do think that is very much that type of card. Um, which I think you can interpret in a lot of ways, you know. In one way, it's like I think a lot of wishes involve like other people or benevolent situations. I think it's a lot about opportunities. Like this card definitely is like a card of opportunities, which is very Jupiter. And that's also something that a lot of people, at least if you're newly into astrology, miss because again, as as Janessa said in the Jupiter episode, sometimes people think that Jupiter is some sort of wish daddy, but it's really, it's really, I think the luck component of Jupiter is preparation meeting opportunity, and you having the guts, the nervous system to actually take it, to take that opportunity once it arrives. And I think that's the genie here. You know, it's like the world is here. Your wishes can be granted, but you have to be able to take it. And that's the lucky component of all of that. And I do think the moon additionally explores also the realm of like feeling that in your body because you can think of all the things you want. And we've seen it this year with Jupiter, and last year, of course, when Jupiter moved into the sign of Cancer. A lot of people were like, heck yeah. But then, okay, expansion is growth pain, growing pains. Like you have to feel okay in your nervous system to receive the good things in your life. And that's easier said than done. A lot of us are very well, you know, versed in imagining the worst case scenarios and all of that things. But what about the best case scenarios? What about receiving that? That is can be hard in and of itself and can actually involve a lot of grief. And I do think that card talks about all of that. And I think also people that have placements in this decan, I know Venus or Jupiter, it's like too good to be true. That's sometimes, and we often see that with Pisces, is people then fall into addiction because the world seem like is a lot harsher, or they face like the harsh reality of a human existence, and it just kind of gets a bit too much. And yet, I think the process it's a bit evolutionary astrology here, but like the process of Pisces is to then turn that into hope again, because then it becomes real hope once you've actually like faced and realized the darkness of all of that as well. That was very mythological.
Yeah. I'm thinking if I have anything to add to that.
For sure.
Um, yeah, I think also it's very curious. We're definitely gonna talk more about this in the workshop. Definitely about the people who come. If anyone has placements here, I have a placement here. We will discuss some of it, both the first decan fully and this decan for great part of it are the bounds of Venus. Venus has the largest bounds
Mm,
in Pisces, and that is very interesting because for a while here we have both the Nephics and the Moon like together in some way. And again, we'll get more into the specifics of what that could mean in the workshop because I think it's so better when you have charts examples. But the way that Amiya talk about the kind of like downsides of having too much of a good thing. Yeah, I think too much of a good thing it can be used here for sure. Also,
yeah,
another
it's the oh
relationship between yeah, Mia already said it, but another relationship between Jupiter and Cancer is the exaltation. Is yeah, too much of a good thing is a team. But what were you gonna
y-
say?
yeah, it was I don't know who that quote is from, but the once I saw a bee drown in honey and then I understood. Like I think I don't know who the quote is from. I'm so sorry, guys. If you know, please let us know. But that is, I think, very applicable to this decan specifically.
Okay, I'm gonna read the poem. This is a poem. The both of these, this and the next one, are actually modern poems. And this is Cloud Fishing by Phyllis Levine. To fish from a cloud in the sky, You must find a comfortable spot. Spend a day looking down, patiently clear-sighted. Peer at your ceiling, where light dangles hook and line could be slipping through. Under the hull of a boat, a fish will see things this way, looking up while swimming by, a wavering pulse refraction, catching his eye. What will you catch? With what sort of bait? Take care of your or you'll catch yourself, a fish might say, as inescapable skins of shadow scatter a net over the face of the deep.
Love it.
Okay, let's go heavy metal with the last one. The last decan in the whole zodiac, called by the Stinko book A Cup of Blood, is Pisces III, and this is a double Mars decan. Interestingly enough, the zodiac starts in a double Mars decan, so now it's a good moment to go to the first Aries video and check that first decan as well, and ends in a double Mars decan as well, which a lot of people take as the image of birth. The image of this decan, though, is usually of a youth or someone young, and nearby this person is a beautiful maid whose head is adorned with flowers. And yeah, again, the rulers of both Ptolemy and Enkel Mars. And I, I'm a little bit lost of words on this decan specifically, because I feel like it's sort of like you're doing this journey, and if we go ahead with the sort of like Lord of the Rings situation, this is like the end of a really like epic movie. So this is like the final battle, and like sort of like the super victorious. And but when you finish movies, and when you, especially like these sort of movies, which are like sort of like war movies in some way, it's like the end is like victory, but also it kind of like leaves you with sort of like bittersweet feeling, because a victory implies losses. And then the card is the Ten of Cups, and I think that's so perfectly in this card.
100%. Isn't this the best card of the tarot? Uh, no, but I certainly love it. What I think is a bit misleading is the fact that if you just encounter this card, you would not think that this is a double Mars ruled decan. Like this card doesn't really scream Mars. But I do like what you said. Again, we can talk a bit about Lord of the Rings here because I think it's that scene where everybody's in the castle and they wake up and like Frodo wakes up and everybody comes and again it's a bit of this bittersweet ending like yes we made it, we managed to put the ring in the fire, and now what, yes, like we go to the peaceful what is it called, the Hobbit village, I forgot the name right now of that. But like we go back there, that it's always, I think, and that's what people also always like, there's always this yearning and this dream, but then if we don't have any tension in life, it becomes unbearable. And I think that's why I literally also took the Mars, the Aries card first, because this is where it ends and this is how it basically starts again. Um, and I almost feel like this guy that is having, in this case, in this tarot deck, a very lovely heart-shaped globe in its hand. It almost feels like this is the world he's trying to build. Now he gets there, and now it starts again. You get to build a new world. You get to build a new journey. You get to go on another quest. And that's just like the continuation. And I think also what this card talks about, which a lot of people say, is it's not about the journey, it's the friends you made along the way type of situation. Because what would it be if you hadn't had all these witnesses and people carrying you? It's never a one man's journey. Maybe it starts off alone. Maybe it starts off with Frodo having to carry that ring, but he wouldn't have made it without all the other people and everybody supporting him. So yeah, I didn't think we would end this with like a Lord of the Rings analogy, but I guess it fits really well. It always does. Like Lord of the Rings is just, it always does.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to that?
Ah, I don't know. It makes me very emotional to get to the end. So, for real, I'm not being like. So it's just
No, like
like, it also makes me think of the fact of like, when you set up like, because all of astrology is like cycles, and cycles repeat themselves. And when you set up like an ending, you are like setting up also a beginning. It's impossible to set up an ending without setting up a beginning. And like when you watch like the sort of like a fantasy adventure movies and the end arrives, what usually happens is you are waiting for something that gives the clue as to what the next movie is about. So I feel like that's kind of like the Mars vibe here. It's
mm,
it's very cathartic and very like full and very like a great, incredible battle, but at the same time it's like that like moment of like silence before like something starts. So maybe that's why I don't have words.
that was more than enough words. But yeah, so if you have any placements in this deck and you're an epic person. No, but I like it. I think it's, what I really adore, and it's, Mercury is stationed retrograde today in this Decan of Pisces.
As we are recording.
As we are recording. So I do think that's something that's really been coming up like in a lot of our lives. And I really like, yes, Mercury in Pisces is in its fall. Like it's not a good Mercury, but it's a Mercury that does things very differently. And it's a Mercury that does a lot of things without speaking words. It's that movie soundtrack, that makes out almost the entirety of the movie, that makes it so like emotional because you can feel it. You feel into that. Like it's that cryptic thing. It's like the symbolism, it's the archetypes and the feel you get for it. It's not really the spoken word. Again, that's why Pisces rules over the realms of dreams, because it's cryptic. It isn't logical like Mercury and Gemini or in Virgo per se. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what the exact conclusion is about that, which feels very Mercury retrograde and Pisces in and of itself. But I think what we really want to leave you with is that it's a conclusion, but it's also and then what happens then? Because as you said, like in
Yeah.
the movies, there's
Like
always
this.
like, what's the next adventure?
Yeah, and astrology is about cycles, so rarely there's an ending without a beginning. And also, you were mentioning the Mercury stays in retrograde here. The Mercury, something very interesting is that in Pisces has always been associated with poets,
Mm,
and that is like from Abu Mazar till like very recently. A lot of people talk about like Mercury in Pisces about like a poet placement. So that is interesting because definitely like when we started like this Decan dance thing, we try to like bring it in some way that is just not like walking but also dancing, which is kind of like doing something more than just like being like super analytical with
yeah.
the decans, because that usually doesn't help you understand like things that are so abstract.
Yes, yes, I think it's very experiential. Astrology in general is, it can be a very head-heavy thing, and that's usually when a lot of people get like they get into analysis paralysis, and that's where you like lock yourself in during a Mercury retrograde so that nothing can happen, which is not the point of astrology. The point of astrology is to feel through it and to kind of surrender to the transits. Which happens all the time, like literally today I was in a tram and somebody forgot their phone. I didn't see who it was, but that was like a Mercury retrograde moment, someone's losing their phone, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take it. Like I'm gonna either give it to like the train station or maybe someone's gonna call it. Luckily, on the next station, the person that forgot it like ran towards it, and I saw them searching, and I was like, I guess it's your phone, like you're searching for that. So, but these are like the small Mercury retrograde moments that I think just make life life. And I'm so here for that. Like if you're locking yourself in and not doing something because you're living in fear of the transits, you're that's not the point of astrology. That's not the point of doing any of that. So,
No, the point of life is living.
exactly. Which is this. Life,
Totally.
death, life. Okay,
Okay,
last poem, Duna. Take it away.
last poem. Yes. It's called After Love by Maxine Cumming. Afterward, the compromise. Bodies resume their boundaries. These legs, for instance, mine. Your arms take you back in. Spoons of our fingers. Lips admit their ownership. The bedding yawns. A door blows aimlessly ajar. And overhead a plane. Sing-songs coming down. Nothing is changed, except there was a moment when the wolf, the mongering wolf, who stands outside the self, lay lightly down and slept.
That's a lovely poem to end this on. Well, do you have any final words?
I don't know. I'm very happy that we did this and that we stuck through it. It's not an easy thing to like get yourself dive into the decans. This book is so I've wasted it in every way, and a lot of other books over there. And yeah, I think it's very interesting. Also, we're gonna do the workshop in the middle of a Mercury retrograde because that's kind of also like looking back, and we have a whole year of things to look back. And yeah, more things coming in the future for sure. By us, by each one of us on their
Definitely.
own. And very, very thankful for all the people that are like joining and have joined in very different points, even if it's just for a workshop. So happy.
100% agree. Thank you as well for like doing this together. Like it was just an idea and then we started doing it and it's always, once you do Aries, you're like, damn, we're gonna do this for a whole year. But it's always so fun and I think every year I learn something new about astrology. Even if I've been like both of us have been astrologers for a while and will probably continue being for a while. But that's what I love about astrology is that I think even in 30 years, I'll sit here and be like, I learned something new about the zodiac signs. And I know that the decans are a bit like abstract and sometimes it almost feels like why would you do even that? Isn't it enough? But I have found it gives a lot more nuance to your own placements, or just even understanding the transits on a deeper level. So I highly recommend anyone to get more into that. There's many good books. Again, T. Susan Chang has a lot of books around the decans. Austin Coppock, 36 Spaces that I
So,
don't know will come out
some
maybe this year. Who knows?
someday it will at
Someday,
second edition.
someday. You can find it online, I think, for
Yeah.
free if I'm not mistaken. So, but we're both
There's
physical copy
there's a couple
girlies,
of
so
PDFs that are like running around everyone until he gets the second edition out.
yeah, totally, totally. So that's something we're looking forward to. But um, yeah, guys, I'm sending you a lot of love. Thank you for everyone that has joined here. We appreciate everyone who has like supported us by leaving likes, by leaving comments, by joining the workshops. Like this really means a lot because I know it's like a more advanced topic, so I know it's like not applicable to like the average person maybe that goes into astrology, but for that I even appreciate everyone more that joined, and I hope that everyone that finds this playlist, even in I don't know how many years, that can take something away from this. And this is why this was created. So thank you so, so, so much. And yeah, before I forget, yes, last workshop once again, 15th of March, 7:30 p.m. Central European time. We're gonna see you there, and then this journey is over for now, at least, but always rewatchable.
Yeah, this was 2025 to 2026 decans, the Decan Dance. And again, come to the workshop. We're gonna have a blast and follow both of us on our journeys because we're both definitely gonna keep journeying with astrology in the
Yep.
upcoming. This is a hell of a year, so buckle up.
Yep. By the way, this is how the workshop is gonna feel like. This is how you're gonna feel like at the end of the workshop. Just saying.
For for sure. And also just plugging in that Amiya and I also did a video of the astrology of this year. And it
True.
feels like a good point. Because also technically the new year astrologically, or one of them, because there's a lot of places to start a cycle, um, is in March 20th, and that's right after the workshop.
True.
Yeah, again, look out because we're both gonna have things coming out related to the cycles that are coming. And bye.
Bye, everyone.